I'll be reading two poems right now. The first is a new poem that I've written. The second is a Cento that's a little older. So first poem, Mending, a Pursuit. The Yorkshire tea-branded pot caught my eye, an Irish salmon spotted in dense fog, stranded on the side of the road. I bought it, washed it, used it for a bit. To get to the point, I dropped it, reaching into the cupboard. It slipped from my grasp, fell out, cracked perfectly in half, one side spouted. I Googled superglue, food safe, and it held. For a while, I made strong Yorkshire tea in the seamed orange shell until the pot stopped holding and simply swam away in well-brewed puddles pulled across the counter. Salmon gorgeous, happy, and halved again. The second is called Cento or Cento for spring. Each day lies in the dark like a folded letter. It was as if all the pageantry had been for this, to make it to the season of reversals. Everywhere you turn, there's mystery and wonder. Please forgive me if I cry. The flux in the jar is softening. It's as if I'm falling in love again. The brain has corridors surpassing material place. Your own thoughts are all you hear. And these lines are taken from the poets Lisa Kaufman, Bernard Ferguson, James Tate, Sharon Olds, Emily Dickinson, and Brad Maudlin.
Welcome back to Speak Your Mind. Today we have a very special episode because we have two featured artists, Bill Hayden and Melissa Slattery, whose beautiful poetry you just witnessed. And they brought us a really great writing challenge today. It is an advanced writing challenge. It's called a Cento. So folks at home, if you want to be inspired to write a Cento, stick with us. We are going to explain what it's all about. So you might want to watch the entire episode, then go ahead and rewind before you write yours. So you're going to write a 5 to 10 line Cento poem. And of course, we already wrote ours, so we're going to share. I always save the best for last. So I'm going to begin. And thank you both for being here. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Okay, here we go. Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to our end. Fall, hands aclasped, into instantaneous ecstasy, like a shot of heroin or morphine, the gland inside of my brain, on our planet floor. Any broad alarm of their hastening doom is lost in the gloom of dust and ages. She let go. She let go without a thought or a word. She let go. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. Oh, let not virtue seek remuneration for the thing it was, for beauty, wit, high birth, vigor of bone, desert in service. Love, friendship, charity are subjects all to envious and calumniating time. And it's Sonnet 60, Shakespeare, Jack Kerouac on meditation, for you, Maya Angelou, and it was, boy, oh boy, I'll get you that, what poem that was from after. Sapphire Rose, She Let Go. Edgar Allan Poe, I believe it was The Raven, and Troilus and Cressida, Shakespeare. So that's my credit. All right, take it away, Bill.
Okay, my turn. My Cento poem is titled Carry Me Home. You can't tell me there is no mystery. It's everywhere I turn. The Lord is the earth I ride on, the path I slip and slide on. Father, won't you carry me? For the ocean is wide, for my boat is so small. Moon over junkyard where the sun lies bright can set my heart to burn. I lived a life of pleasant sorrows until the real deal came, broke me like a twig in a winter gale, called me by my name. Help me cross the stormy sea out here in the darkness. Infinity always gives me vertigo and fills me up with grace. The garden keeps a rose and a thorn, and once the choice is made, all that's left is mending what was torn. Love is like a braid. Father, won't you carry me? For the ocean's wide, and don't tell me there is no mystery. It overflows my cup. Father, won't you carry me? A homeless soul ponders the code of forgiveness, hoping the gates won't be closed before your forgiveness. For my boat is so small. Dip your hand in heaven's waters, God's imagination, all of life's abundance in a drop of condensation. Come, all you stumblers who believe love rules, stand up and let it shine. Let me sleep in your arms and come watch over me. Life is a meteor. Let your eyes roam. Heaven is beautiful. It's almost like home. Father, won't you carry me home? And the sources for this were 3 writings by lyricists and singer-songwriters. Mystery, the song Mystery, written and recorded by Bruce Coburn. 7 Psalms, written and recorded by Paul Simon. And the selection of Movement 5 titled Grace from the Prayer Cycle, written by Jonathan Elias.
All right, Melissa.
So this poem I wrote this morning for our challenge. So it goes this way. Doesn't have a title yet. A red bird's wings cutting across my stair, the sky, a plane in the sky, just a swarm of blue things. I'm a window. I'm falling, and I do not feel that there are rocks below. I think I may go on falling. Ourself, behind ourself concealed, should startle most. I thought I'd be used to it by now. I stood in the green field and waved my arms, but nothing good descended, no avian form, no cloud. It's time, I thought, to stop being so hard on myself. All I want is a cat I could love and who will love me back unconditionally. So.
Awesome, really great. So folks at home, you're probably saying, what? What do I do? Don't worry, we're going to break it down for you. Again, we have, back by popular demand, Bill Hayden. If you've been following our season, you know he's been here before. And Melissa Slattery. I was inspired because we all performed recently together at the Norwalk's Poet Live, and Bill did a Cento poem. And I came up to him and Melissa after, and Melissa was sharing with me about a workshop that you held doing Cento poems, and I'm like, you have to come on the show. You have to come and share with our audience. I love new writing challenges, especially stuff that I've never even heard of before. So I'm gonna turn it over to them to share with you how to do your own Cento poem, what's the theory, philosophy behind it. You can also utilize my poem to dissect it, let me know what I did right, what I did wrong, how I can improve it. You can ask me any questions about how I came up with it. So basically, ball's in your court. We can start with Melissa and then tell us all, how do we do this?
Okay, well, thank you, Maya. And first thing I should say is that Cento is based on your reading, so it's a form that requires that you read a lot of poems, because the poems become, as we were saying earlier, we have our mother poems. And so the mother poems, line by line that we choose, give birth to our offspring poem. And so that's important, the reading, your reading, and your breadth of knowledge is sort of subtly, you're sort of demonstrating that, how much you know your poetic, like the canon of poetry. And then the other thing, which I didn't do just now, is you need to attribute where your lines come from. So when I finished reading, I should have said, I got my lineage, you could say, from Joseph Komanyaka, Bernard Ferguson, Sharon Olds, Emily Dickinson, and the last one was Tom Cox. So it's important to attribute where each line comes from. And we're not plagiarizing at all.
And I think it's fun for the listener because then they can go and look up those poems and not just have it be something in space. So these are my mother poems, so this is what I drew from. I have a book of adaptation poems because I've done workshops where you take a poem and you adapt it. So I had my adaptation poems. So these are my mother's. So I think it was on the Pulse of Morning, so I said the wrong one. So that's the Maya Angelou one that I took it from.
Yeah. And the observation I made about the poem, the Cento, people also say Cento. But we just,
Cento?
Cento because the word Cento or Cento originates from an Italian word which means a patchworked garment.
Okay.
So there is the sense of collage
Yes.
is built into this form.
Yeah.
But I noticed...
So basically like a poem collage.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So it's Cento or Cento?
Cento.
Cento.
Yes.
Cento. Give me my Cento.
Yeah, you're authentic.
Yeah. So,
But is it like tomato?
well, it depends. I was talking to someone earlier, and they said, well, it depends how Italian you are.
Okay.
So I'm not at all Italian.
Right, I'm not.
but-
So I'll say Cento.
Yeah,
I think I
so
can
a
get
lot
away
of
with
people.
Cento.
A lot of people say Cento. So I recommend that people download a PDF file that explains it in greater detail than we'll be able to do today, and we'll put the URL for this PDF about it in the comments section.
Okay, great, yeah. So Speak Your Mind, Spoken Word TV on YouTube, and we'll put that link there. And that's the Poetry School?
Yeah, it's readily available online. It's from the Poetry School, and this is called the Cento by Linda Black. And she just goes into more detail and offers the form as an exercise that poets can use, first of all, to kind of direct your reading. You have sort of a filter that you use as you read, broadly, and then you create, as you did, with you call them this is from...
So these are I took it from you, my mother?
Yeah.
What did you call it, the
and
mother
and
poem?
so you kind of gather
a
group of poems, and when we did the workshop together, I gave people 10, I had a handout of 10 poems. Everybody had the same 10 poems.
Okay.
But we had 10, or I think there were 8 people. We had 8 really different poems developed from the same mother.
That's fun.
So it's almost like sourdough bread in a way. You've got your mother, which is your collection, and then you develop offspring.
That's kind of cool because if everyone's taking from the same toolbox, you don't know which tools they, want to work with, and a bit of their personality can come out in that.
It's just like you said, you were using some poems that had been used in a previous workshops. You were very familiar with the text of those poems in your mind, so you could kind of sense which poems would fit together with other poems.
Yeah,
have a theme,
it made me go back and read them a little bit deeper
Right.
because putting this together, I'm like, I knew the poems, but I'm like, oh boy, how are they going to fit together? And I sort of sandwiched it in between the Shakespeare, who is my favorite, and with the sonnet being about time and the passage of time, and then, the Cellist and Cressida monologue about time it brings us all together. The only thing we have is what we lay down in this time, and that's the only thing remembered. So there are two pieces from Shakespeare that are different, but they're both talking about time. So that that was sort of my theme, because I remember when we talked.
Yeah, you had a clear through line,
Yeah.
which helps hold it together. It's like a spine, or, well, through line is what the term I've come across pretty frequently. So through line, also trying to keep the tense of the verbs somewhat aligned. So if you're in is mode, you don't bounce back and forth, which is not to say you can't try it. Because
How did I do?
I think it
what score
worked.
would I get?
I would give you an A.
You would?
Yes.
How about you, Bill? Would you give me an A?
Yeah, I thought it was fabulous.
Oh,
the way you
wonderful.
combined those lines.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were somehow all intrinsically related. What I did was I pre-typed out the mother poems that I'm going to select for my Cento poem. And then I started highlighting those lines of those mother poems that really jumped out at me and I thought were the significant ones. And then I decided, well, the one that was based on the prayer cycle seemed to be the shortest one with the clearest, simple language. So I used that as kind of the outline or the kind of the beginning and interspersed it through all the other selections from the other two sources. And that gave it kind of a body, or like you were saying, a backbone.
Okay.
Gave it kind of a thematic. But there was definitely a theme between all these sets of lyrics and writings.
Would you hold that up? Because I like how you have it color coordinated. And I like anything that helps the visual eye piece things together.
Yeah, I put the one,
so
one
hold it up a
source
little
in,
bit longer so our folks at home can
one
sort of
source in
see.
green, one in black, and one in red,
Nice.
just to know what the source was.
I
for
like that.
each of the Cento mothers.
And
Beautiful.
Bill used repetition really well in this poem. And so the repetition kind of guides the reader or listener through the poem. It's very reassuring. It's a very comforting Cento that you've written here.
Yeah,
It was really lovely.
Both of them are lovely, and so we definitely have to come back and do this again and dig into it a little bit deeper. But for our folks at home, like any sort of because you're going to go home and you're going to try it. Don't worry, you can try a bunch of them, rewind the tape. But any one or two things that they should know about writing their Cento. Last little tips for them.
Well, I would say focus on poems that you really like a lot, or poets whose work you like a lot, and start studying some of their writings and see how well they might be able to fit together.
All right, and how about for you on form?
I would say have a through line. Attribution is really important.
And that is giving credit.
Right, you have to, it's sort of like doing citation.
Okay.
The other thing is don't pick the juiciest line from every poem because they clash. They can clash.
Okay.
So sometimes the less juicy lines will help you fit your thematic thread more closely.
Okay.
But you need to just taste it.
Yeah.
You need to just kind of taste like 5 or 6 poems, see what goes together, and it's very malleable. You can.
It's like a buffet. You really want to choose well, because if not, you have a stomach ache.
That's true. Or it just doesn't hang
It just
together.
doesn't mesh together. It just doesn't go. Where can people find you? Your social handles, your performing. Really quick, where could our audience find you guys performing? Because they're fabulous. You want to see some really good poetry. Bill?
Well, I'm basically still finding my way, having retired from the Poet Laureate position of Norwalk.
Emeritus?
Emeritus.
Emeritus.
I'm an emeritus poet laureate now, but I do have a WordPress website. I think it's under my name, but I have a nickname for it called Kamarupa Wheat Belt.
Right, Kamarupa Wheat Belt.
It's spelled just like it sounds, with a K.
With a K. And how about for you, Melissa? And you're doing meditations as well.
Well, I do meditations through a nonprofit called Community Mindfulness Project.org, so check out their website. I have a Instagram page. It's Creative Mix MXX. And I'm working with the new Poet Laureate of Norwalk, Katie Schneider, to do poetry walk workshops. So we're doing one on June 21st. So follow Katie Schneider, and you'll hear about
Get all
this
the goods.
workshop.
Norwalk is the place to be, seems like it. And Bill, you're going to do some more poetry for us, correct? Or do some more? You're going to do some poetry for us. You're not going anywhere.
More than happy to do so.
Awesome, perfect. All right, folks at home, don't go anywhere because we have some more poetry for you, so stay tuned.
The first of these two poems is titled Gambler's Paradise. The boxcars were full of old drunken men with names like Big Red and Fast Eddie, who'd pitched their fate on a long shot. Their lives would bounce back, a full house in hand and a huge pot. What could go wrong counting on a win so large they'd need a second suitcase to carry off the green? But most relied on liquor's numbing ease to soothe their bones. That night, round midnight, the game was street craps. It was Little Joe throwing 8s and 10s the hard way, 2 4s and 2 5s. Each toss, the dice bounced lively on the tabletop, hoping Snake Eyes wouldn't squash his last bet. His future wagered on a paradise. The second one is titled Exposition Poem. Our taste buds swelled, lips joined lips by passion bound, and touching with closed eyes, replace our fingertips with lips. With each breath's tempo quickened in the warm umbra, before ardor's eclipse, the shadow play of yearning bursts in joyous spasms deep in our love's wells, which treat each other's tenderness with the life force in ourselves. The child we each imagined giving each other could never be confused about its heritage, its origin, its birth in purity. As one and one make one more, their issue soon to be warmed by the sun, we count our blessings hourly, 2 hearts that beat as one. Spirit, conveyed through swollen eruption that splits itself in 2, one child emerges. Healthy with our love and care it grew, till time brought sure maturity. Behold, the Spirit's flame, those qualities as parents we could only hope they'd know the same. Touch of lips on lips, the fire in the breast, the comfort in the heart, the Spirit still.